So today we're discussing Cyber Essentials Plus with Neil from IASME. So Neil, how does Cyber Essentials Plus differ from Cyber Essentials?
So Cyber Essentials Plus is different in the fact that you're going to get a Cyber Essentials Plus auditor or assessor involved in the assessment process, and they'll be checking that you have the controls of Cyber Essentials in place. So they'll be running a set of 5 tests against a sample of the organisation's devices.
Okay, so and why should an organisation consider Cyber Essentials?
It gives them a greater level of assurance, more than anything. But not only that, it gives organisations that are requesting you to have Cyber Essentials in place, they have some confidence in your organisation that you are actually applying the controls of the scheme.
And with Cyber Essentials Plus as well.
Well, that's where they get this greater level of assurance, is because they have this independent audit. It's not them, you're not just trusting the answers as given on a written assessment, even though that's verified by an assessor. It also means that the assessor or a trained CE Plus assessor is going into the organisation that's either remotely or actually on site and running a series of tests against it, checking for vulnerabilities, etc.
Okay, so what tests are included with Cyber Essentials?
So there are 5 areas of testing that we look at. So we want them to test from an external scan. So when we talk about an external scan, what somebody will see that is exposed on your network to the internet. So they'll be looking for open ports, services, looking through the IP addresses that you have that are exposed on the internet. And they'll be looking for vulnerabilities, and those vulnerabilities, any that identified that you believe you had when you're doing a self-assessment, they'll need to be remediated as part of the CE Plus audit. And then what happens is, after that is done, the assessor will carry out should be checking to see what devices there are in the organisation, and then taking a sample of those devices and checking and running 4 further tests against them. So just to be clear, the Cyber Essentials sample that's used for the CE Plus, that needs to be chosen by the assessor. Okay, that needs to be controlled. So they will look at all the devices in the organisation. They will go through the list, and they will be looking them to verify that list going forward. And then they choose, based on some guidelines that are given by us at IASME, they will choose a random sample that they think is representative of the organisation to run 4 further sets of tests. Some of those tests are, we do an internal vulnerability scan individually on each device that's sampled. That's checking to make sure they're patched to the correct levels and addressed all those critical and high vulnerability patches that are required for the scheme. There are then a set of email-related tests or web download tests, downloading some test files to make sure your malware protection service that you have installed is operational and actually blocking the most common files that cause issues, regarding a cyber threat. And then we also ask for an account separation test. This is to make sure that a day-to-day user of the device doesn't have full admin privilege or rights or permissions to run, install software, make configuration changes. That's a key of Cyber Essentials. We want to make sure they're using separated accounts. And then the final thing is to check that multi-factor authentication is being used on the cloud services you have in use in the organisation. So those cloud services such as Microsoft 365, the Google Workspace, Salesforce, and various other ones. If you've got multi-factor on it, you must use that to pass the Cyber Essentials Plus.
And so when it comes to multi-factor authentication, are you including single sign-on within that? So if you've got, how does an applicant deal with that?
Right, so single sign-on and multi-factor aren't mutually inclusive, okay? They are 2 separate mechanisms. So whatever you need a central authentication system to use single sign-on. But when you use that, you must turn multi-factor on. Single sign-on its own is not multi-factor authentication. It's making sure that the cloud service that you're using to use single sign-on, you've enabled the multi-factor on it beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay, so single sign-on, you can use Microsoft 365, you can use that to authenticate to go into many different services. But you still have to make sure that the multi-factor is enabled and turned on and applied to all users in Microsoft 365. Then the single sign-on is used to connect to all those other cloud services that want to use that form of authentication.
That was a good question, Steve. And some of the common pitfalls that you find with Cyber Essentials Plus, I'm sure you'll have.
I think with Plus, can you talk about the timescales that are involved from going from Cyber Essentials and completing the Cyber Essentials Plus?
Yeah, so Cyber Essentials Plus needs to be completed within so many days after, or so many days or months after the Cyber Essentials self-assessment has taken place, and that is 90 days or 3 months, roughly the same, isn't it? So, but within that period, you've got to carry out, all the tests got to be carried out by the CE Plus assessor, and they will do that, and then as part of that process, from day one, they run the internal vulnerability scan and check it. When they find issues, you then have a 30-day window to remediate those or fix those issues. But that needs to be within that 90-day, 3-month window, okay? But ideally, you should be starting Cyber Essentials Plus as soon after you've completed the self-assessment.
Going back to the timescales, can I just confirm where it's the 3 months or 90 days? Is that working days, or is that just as it stands, like 30 days, 90 days?
No, it's 90 consecutive days.
Okay.
It's not working days.
Right.
Any attacker is not going to be bothered about
He's not taking the weekend off.
They don't take the weekends off, do they? So it's 90 consecutive days. So when we get, especially important when you come to the 14 days and the 30-day rules that are in Cyber Essentials about remediating, you need to get those things fixed as quick as possible. Yeah, unfortunately, the cyber criminal, the hacker, etc., they really don't care about whether you work at weekends and have time off and go on holiday. They'll just do it all the time. So we just need to make sure. So the 90 days is consecutive and the 30 days is consecutive days.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Perfect. Another thing, we speak to customers and they often say, oh, I'm not ready for Plus, but they've got the Cyber Essentials already. They've passed it already. So do you agree with they should be ready for Cyber Essentials Plus by the time they've passed their Cyber Essentials, or what's your feelings on that?
Yeah, they really should be ready. That's the point. We don't allow, when we're marking and the guidance we give for Cyber Essentials, it's a point in time assessment. So when you fill out that questionnaire and the question set, it's really, that's the state of play you have at that current time. We can't make allowances for changes in the future, etc. They may never happen. They may get forgotten about, may not get upgraded. So really, when you fill out that form and pass Cyber Essentials self-assessment, that is it. You should be really ready to get Cyber Essentials Plus within a few days, barring the fact you need to do some remediation, because it's not always perfect about patching and those things. And often a CE Plus assessor will find things that you maybe thought were in place aren't in place correctly, and you'll need to fix them in that period of time.
So thanks very much, Neil and Steve, for that. If your organisation is interested in obtaining Cyber Essentials, check out our website, cyberessentials.online.